what they remind you of. The first item is a mollusk shell. The second item is an ear of corn. And the third item is a leaf. Okay, some of you might think things that come from nature, or maybe you're thinking about the beach, or maybe you're thinking about, being under a shady tree. Well, when I think of these things, I think of toilet paper. That's right, toilet paper. I've always considered myself an expert on toilet paper. My oldest is 18, so I've been buying it for over 17 years. I have used it for over 30 years, and I was shocked to find out that I didn't know that much about toilet paper. So today I hope that I can educate you on the history and impact that toilet paper has on our lives and the world. And I'm going to do this by first informing you a bit on the history of toilet paper. Second, I'm going to tell you about the impact on our environment, and that's going to have a few statistics, but it's not boring statistics. And third, we're going to talk about the increasing controversies of toilet paper. Yes, there are controversies. So first off, for a brief history of toilet paper. Toilet paper was originally, first we're going to talk about, if we're going to talk about the history of toilet paper, we have to talk about what was originally used for toilet paper. That's my visual aids. People from America used corn. We're not sure whether it was eaten first and then used or dried or what, but they used corn. And as you all know, we've all been in the forest and not had our toilet paper. People like Eskimos use grass or snow, depending on the weather, and people in the coastal areas actually use mollusk shells or coconut shells, which does not sound like any fun to me. People in the eastern countries used their left hand, which might be why we shake with our rights. Toilet paper was originally made in 1390 for the emperors of China, and it was in 2x3 sheets. And they made like 724,000 a year or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Rolls of toilet paper came to the United States in 1890, and it was from the Scott Company. And they actually, what they did was they weren't making it themselves. They had big rolls shipped in, and then they put them onto smaller rolls. And since they were unmentionables, they didn't want to put a name that would associate them with it. So they sold them as private. So like Kmart would have a Kmart brand, or Walmart would have a Walmart brand, just like they do today, because they didn't want to associate their name with toilet paper. By 1907, they decided that they would buy a name and put it on the toilet paper, and that name was Waldorf, and they actually started making their own toilet paper. There were a lot of problems with the original toilet paper. It was scratchy, it was hard, and it had splinters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, not refined, it had splinters. The Scott actually had on one of their advertisements, 65% of men and women suffered from infection due to toilet paper. We have no idea if this is really true or if they just said it, but they did have a warning on it. It said, harsh toilet paper may cause injury. So now we're going to go into the history of toilet paper. And that's where our statistics come in. Did you know that 83,048,116 rolls of toilet paper are used a day? That computes to 30.6 billion rolls per year and 2.7 rolls per second. So in my 6-minute speech, 972 rolls will be used. The average person spends 47 minutes in the bathroom. Women spend a little longer, and I think it's because they want to escape their children. At least that's why. And the average person uses about 5.9 squares per time they're in the bathroom. Our toilet paper, most people don't know that toilet paper, only 2% of America's toilet paper is made of 100% recyclable material. And so, of course, Greenpeace has something to say about that. And on the Greenpeace website, they have a quote, they have an article called Destroying Forests to make toilet paper is worse than driving Hummers. And they're talking about that we don't need SUVs to wipe ourselves with. We always want the softest, we always want the heaviest, and that's not really necessary. So they said, Dave Dixman, a spokesman for Kimberly-Clark, said that only 14% of the wood pulp used by the company came from the boreal forest. He does not dispute that they're cutting down ancient boreal forests made from a 10,000-year-old ecosystem. doesn't sound like very much, but it actually comes out to 3,113,000 metric tons of trees, virgin trees, are used a year to make our toilet paper. Did you realize that if the whole world just used one roll of recyclable toilet paper, that they would save 424,000 trees? That's pretty amazing to me. So my last thing is controversies. The controversies of toilet paper, and there are many, and I didn't realize it. And I wasn't sure how to get my statistics, and so I decided that I would put out a thing on my Facebook account and an email to all of my friends. So I wrote everybody, and I told them I was doing an informative speech, and I wanted their views, and why they chose what they chose, and things like that. And no men responded. And there were plenty of men that could have, but obviously men aren't that concerned about toilet paper. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is over versus under.
1 minute.
It doesn't say. So, over versus under. Over won 95%. People like their toilet paper to come over the front. They say it doesn't tear when they're pulling it off. It comes off easier. It's easier to find the end. And it's just simply easier. So, our few people who wanted under said that you use less toilet paper because it was harder to come off, and that their cats couldn't unroll it. I don't have a cat, so I don't know about that. And then 1-ply versus 2-ply was the other thing that was a big question for me, and 2-ply went over 100%. Nobody wants to use 1-ply. It doesn't matter if it's cheaper. They say they don't want their hands to get wet in the process. So 1-ply is the winner. So in the end, the next time you go to purchase your toilet paper, I hope that you'll have a greater understanding on the toilet paper and its impact on our environment. And I hope I've given this to you. And in the end, there are no buts about it, but toilet paper is a hugely underappreciated thing that all of us use more than anything else in our lives.